Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. My name is Patty, and I am here from Divine Warrior Intuitive to do your actually astrology today, and also a reading for what's going on for the full moon. So this is live, and we're going to get started. For some of you that are probably going to show up late, but hopefully when this gets recorded, for those of you that are brand new to my channel, thank you for stopping and seeing what it's about. I do astrology, but I mainly do readings, and they're weekly and they're live. And the reason why I do that, as a tarot reader, I like to have the energies right there as possible if somebody is needing help or guidance or has a question, because I shoot all my live tarot readings and I am an intuitive, so I ask the divine or who is on the other side with wisdom on how to help this person or what is going on. You can always email me, always email me. Any questions that you have are free, and that is for you to just go ahead and ask. I like to help, and I like to teach. I am an empath. I love to help people that are having abilities and are probably not getting the help that they need, or the support, or the understanding of what's going on with them. So that's what I do as well. So as a spiritual coach. So just as we're getting started for the full moon, whoops, let me hit that off. That's usually my daughter. We're going to talk about not only the full moon, we're going to talk about the retrogrades. There is a lot of energy going on with these retrogrades. We are packed full of energies, and I'm going to try to keep this as simple as I can. And I'm also going to keep it in date order. So if you want to go through this again, then you can actually just go back and go through it, because there is a lot to unpack, you guys. This end of this month and the first 2 weeks of July are packed. We have 4 retrogrades going on. We have one retrograde leaving, another one coming in. And then we have the full moon energies, and energies that are just at the end of the month, really packing us with some intense, strong energies. So hopefully that will help you. And then we're going to go to a reading. Okay, I'll do a real quick, what do you call it? Um, Collective reading for the end of the month. All right. So let's get started. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about the full moon. Then I'm gonna go into the retrogrades, because I think that the retrogrades are going to be more important with this full moon energy, because with the full moon at the center, the full moon's going to go away, but those retrogrades are going to stay, and they're going to impact your life. And I want you to understand how they're going to impact your life. So when we're looking at the full moon is in Capricorn this time. And then we also have, and that is happening on the 24th. So if you're watching this recorded, I recorded it on the 22nd. And the reason why, if you know my channel, if you've been around my channel, I do everything to the date as much as I can. So the full moon is on the 24th, not the 22nd. It's on the 24th, but I'm going to be on an airplane that day and hopefully be in the full moon. Nothing's going to go wacky, because we still have Mercury retrograde. Even though the Mercury retrograde is leaving today, we are still going to have a lot of the Mercury retrograde energies probably through the second week of July. Okay, so I'll talk about that in a minute as well. But with this full moon in Capricorn, it's going to be it. The thing is, and you'll hear me say it's a strawberry moon. I put that on my thumbnail. And the reason why it's called a strawberry moon is because it is the last full moon of spring. And it's the time where plants begin, the flower begins to turn into fruit or a vegetable or whatever it is. So that's why it's called the strawberry moon. And also in June usually is strawberry month. So that is sort of another reason. But there's other names for it. There's like the birth moon, the blooming moon. And Europeans used to call it the honeymoon, or the mead moon, because it has to do with all the plants changing. All right. So just a little tidbit and FYI on that. All right. But again, we are in the moon of Capricorn. So we're really driven. We're really working hard. We work hard. We play hard. We're persistent. We're resilient. We keep going. We're very ambitious. That's the full moon. Okay. So with the full moon, though, we've got also on the full moon. Oh my gosh. I had to take notes this time because there is so much going on. There's so much oppositions going on. It sort of drives you crazy because on the June 14th, prior to the full moon on the 24th, this is a big energy where Saturn squared Uranus. What does that mean? Well, Saturn is very much a restricting, limiting, likes to stay within these boundaries. But Uranus is sort of like, oh, I'm an individual, I'm an, original, and I like to keep going and doing that kind of stuff. So you got this conflict with these two, and they're squaring each other. Well, Saturn is also in retrograde, which means that's even more powerful because when it's in retrograde, when a planet is in retrograde, it's moving extremely, extremely slow, which means it gives it more power. So if you hear me talk about a planet in retrograde, most of the time that planet has a lot of power because it's slow. So, for example, right now, you've heard me talk through all your readings about Mercury retrograde. We've been in Mercury retrograde for a while, right? Sorry. But it's leaving the 22nd. Yay! And why is it leaving? Because probably you guys have been in fights or arguments, or there's a lot of been tension. Maybe your computers are pooping out or doing weird things, or your phones are glitching or doing weird things, because Mercury is about communication and it loves to mess with it. That's why nobody likes Mercury retrograde. So the thing is, as it leaves the 22nd, everybody's like, yay! But I'm like, oh, come on, let's go. Because the planet, what that means is if the planet is in retrograde, it's moving extremely, extremely slow. So when it gets ready to go direct and start moving again, it's got to rev up. Well, you got to imagine planets being as huge as they are, it takes time to rev up and get out of there, right? So it's like 2 weeks. So the first 2 weeks, so I'd say about the second week of July, you can see things become more optimistic. The arguing is going to stop. Your computers are going to be happier. Your phones are going to be happier. So if your phone's glitching, don't worry about it too much until maybe the third week of July. All right. So that's Mercury retrograde. We've been in it. We're leaving it. Thank goodness before the full moon, but the energies are still going for a couple of weeks. So that's number one. So on the 14th, but then on the 20th, right before the full moon, we've got Jupiter going into retrograde. Okay, so we've got now Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter going into retrograde. Okay, and that is, Jupiter is a lot about going forward. Jupiter is a lot about, oh gosh, I'm stuck. Expansion, growing, learning, healing. One thing about Jupiter is there's probably somebody and some people, probably quite a few people out there throughout the world. It's big on travel for long distance. I'm not talking about, oh, we're going to travel across town. No, this is a really big thing about either traveling long distances or foreign country kind of thing. But it has to do with, Jupiter has to do with a lot of personal growth. And I'll tell you, if you've been watching your video or watching your readings for your signs, and I was going through them last night because I'm getting ready to fly, right? And I want to make sure you guys have your readings, is that I began to look like, oh man, I sound like a freaking broken record in all the different signs, because the number 10 kept coming up a lot and transition kept coming up a lot. Well, why? Because we got Saturn, Pluto, and now Jupiter all in. This is all about transition, about personal growth, about conflict versus, actually, control versus truth, untruth versus truth. This is going to be a big one for you guys. Okay, so we're going to move on. I'm going to move on to, so the 20th, right? We've got the other thing too about Jupiter. Got to be really careful, guys, because in the future, through the summer, really pay attention, because Jupiter has control of like oil and transportation. It also has anything to do, like our fuel, our gas and stuff. Prices are probably going to go up. Food prices are going to go up because with Jupiter, it's at the end of the month, it's going to leave us sort of confused and dazed because it comes in with a pack at the end of the month, and I'll talk about that later. But just keep this in the back of your mind to make sure that you have enough food because the prices are going to go up. Basically, everything, the prices are going to go up before the end of summer. And the reason why is because Jupiter's in control of all that. And it's in retrograde, which means it's more powerful. Okay. So if you're taking notes, I would say one of those notes towards the end of the month, because July and August, your gas prices are probably going to go way up and your food prices are going to go way up. Stock up early. Stock up early. I always stock up a little bit anyway, because, when we hit the pandemic hit here, I was like, okay, we're good for it another 2-3 weeks. Thank God we had toilet paper because people went nuts with toilet paper. All right. So the thing is about the full moon, okay, and I'm going to go into that because we still have Neptune going into a retrograde. And that's going to happen on the 25th after the full moon. So we'll talk about that after the full moon. So the full moon is about where we have a double opposition here. So we've got a lot of control versus truth. So, and this could be external. This could be our government. This could be people outside. This could be people in our families. There's a lot of I want to say when I talk about this in your readings, it's earth. It's the outside. It's the circumstantial stuff that is going to be impacted because remember, Saturn's in retrograde. That is at the same time as the full moon. So you've got control and limitations fighting the truth, fighting originality, fighting whatever that is for you. So remember that. That is definitely a really high power. The other thing is that because the full moon and Jupiter are sort of going into alignment, I'm not going to go into the dynamics. This is going to happen about the 29th, but the energies are going to start earlier around the full moon. So we're going to have a lot of emotions because Pisces gets involved. Okay, Pisces gets involved about the 29th. And when Pisces gets involved, we get really emotional. Really emotional. And this, what you want to do, and Pisces is, you got to think about the thing about Jupiter and Pisces, what's happening right now is really focusing in. You'll notice maybe your spirituality awakening or your dreams are going to get more vivid or I say supernatural, some people say psychic abilities, that kind of stuff is going to heighten up. This is going to happen because of Jupiter in Pisces. Okay, so, but through all of this, we're going to have a transformation of a new thinking, a new self. We've got to replace the old. And I say this almost every full moon, but with these, I mean, you've got Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto. Then we're not only going to have that, we're going to have Neptune and Uranus kicking in. So you got 5 flipping planets. But the big things is that the astrologers, the master astrologers, they're talking about really pay attention to your transition and your healing at this point, because this is a huge forward movement. It's a huge forward movement in 2 ways, and that's going to be your choice in how you move. It's going to be either in trying to control it and the old way, which doesn't work, or we're going to try to move forward in a more joy-filled, higher vibrational energy. We're going to try to, stay above what is happening externally. So remember, I said that the earth is external, the outside. You're looking at everything that is materialistic, is government, is justice, is all this. We're having lots of riots. We're having meat companies closed down. We're having, being hacked. We're having all this stuff on the outside. This is what divine and the astrologers are saying. Don't pay attention to it. Pay attention to what you can do with yourself to grow yourself to your higher self, to your higher power. Okay, that is really, really huge because we're moving forward. At the end of the month, guys, it's going to be really, really packed full. This is a really intense moon. It's intense because we've got 4 planets and, or actually 5 planets and 4 retrogrades going on. So I can't unpack it all in an hour. I'm just trying to get you the highlights of it, okay? But you have to understand that Jupiter is trying to unravel your belief system. So what that means is it wants to show the truth. So a lot of people are going to be looking at their belief system. Do they believe it or not? Is it real or is it not? Because we're talking about untruth and truth. And it depends on your individual person. You know, you have to look at, when I talk about divine, I say whoever is your higher, whoever is your, oh my gosh, I call divine, your higher being that you go to, whether it's the universe or your angels or God or wherever you go, your higher being, that's where you're going to want to stay your focus on. Because this not only has the Pisces, it has Pluto. This is about transformation. It's about death and rebirth. Now, some of you guys had that in your reading last week. Now, I just posted some of the 28th through the 4th, but in the week before, from the 21st to the 27th, a lot of death and rebirth, a lot of tens going on, meaning for those that are brand new to this, number 10 in numerology means that you're finishing something and something new. So a death and a rebirth. Because Pluto's definitely all about death and transformation. And it gets obsessed, Pluto gets obsessed with that. Let's destroy this. Let's get rid of this. Let's, whatever. But this is also, Pluto is about your subconscious. It's about your belief system. It's about your, I hate to say the word because I don't like the word religion. It's about whatever you believe in. I say religion because a lot of people think that spirituality is a religion. It's different. It's a relationship. Okay. I teach relationship with divine. I don't teach religion. I just don't. I'm a spiritual coach. I don't do that because religion is learning the books and maybe never walking the talk. So when you have a relationship with divine, you can't help it because you're talking to him back and forth and he's telling you what to do and you better listen. Kind of a thing. So anyway, so that's the thing is this is your, if you fight this transformation, you're going to have a lot of struggles within yourself, maybe a little bit miserable because you're like, what is going on? Why can't I just keep moving forward? Because you're fighting your inner self. This is the full moon with the retrogrades going on. This is Pluto. Okay. Saturn is restrictive. And then we've got Jupiter, who's all about expansion. Uranus is all about individuality. Woo, let's go, kind of a thing. So you've got all these energies going on, okay? But with Pisces in Jupiter, okay, because I have to think a minute here. So Jupiter actually, the thing is, okay, we've got a trine going on and we got some squares going on, and I won't get into that, but Jupiter is actually ruled by Sagittarius, but Pisces is interacting. So that's why things are going to get, you're going to get really weepy, ladies. You know, we go through these emotions and you're thinking, oh, wow, am I going through menopause? Because you're crying at the drop of a hat, or you're just like, why am I crying? Or why am I edgy? Or why am I so sensitive? Or why am I, that's what's going on. Pisces is interacting. We've got a trine and some sextiles and some squaring going on up there. So there's a lot with that going on. So, but the thing is, when all this kerfuffle is going on, there's going to be more kerfuffle externally. So, you know, like in Portland, I live in Oregon, and in Portland, a lot more riots. And then the police that are doing the riots, they've all resigned, and they're like, you know, we're done with this. And some of the cities out there, you know, so there's going to be some kerfuffle going on. But what I'm suggesting is to ignore that and focus in on yourself and what you can do to create yourself more joy, more peace, more happiness, in your little circle and your friend's circle, your family's circle, or maybe just you. Because if you're going through any healing, this is the transition time to really focus in on the high vibrations, the high energies, and on who you believe in this second dimension. Now, the second dimension to you new people to this is where the divine lies. It's where people maybe other people may call heaven, or, but it is what we cannot see. You'd be surprised at, you've got spirits all around you. You got spirits, you got your ancestors. Do you ever walk by and you smell somebody who's passed on? You're like, oh, that smells like their perfume or their cologne or whatever. And it's like, yeah, they do. If you look at life after death, and this is what this is about, looking at life and thinking about life after death. Am I going to go there? Am I going to go to the second dimension? Everybody goes to the second dimension. What energy is like? Imagine this. Energy is like a sparkler. I don't know if you know what a sparkler is, because I have people from all over the world that watch. So maybe they don't have a sparkler in their country. So a sparkler is, we have fireworks on 4th of July. It's just a stick and you light it with a lighter and it just sparks off all these sparks. So we call it a sparkler, right? That's us. So when you pass on, you imagine yourself as a sparkler, because when you pass on, you're like those sparks. You can be in many places at one time. Energy. Think of energy. You think of somebody passing on and they see mist. What is that? That's energy. Those are molecules, energies that goes out into space. Think of that. Where does it go? Does it go all together? No, it actually dissipates. So you can go all over the world if you wanted to once you pass on, okay? Anyway, what I'm talking about here is that you have to begin to think about, or you're going to, no matter what, somebody's going to start thinking about this because of Pluto. Pluto retrograde happening during the time of the full moon. Pluto retrograde. This can't be helped. So you're going to have a lot of things that you're going to be thinking about with this full moon. There's like control versus truth, or control versus uncontrol. It's like, why do you have to control the situation? Why do you have to do that? There's going to be some conflict between people that are actually very free-flowing, go with the flow, or you got the other person who needs to have control. You got Saturn energy, Uranus energy, not Uranus energy, okay? So you're going to have a push-pull kind of feeling in the full moon. This full moon, trying to think here. Yeah. So this full moon too is a time to really think, because the energies again are forward moving. This is when I'm talking about your transition and thinking about what you want to do, where you want to be, who you are inside. Again, this is going to be a real big spiritual inner working transition kind of thing for many, 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 many people. I think there's going to be just part of it, especially if you've been around COVID or people passing. We've had lots of people pass. And you're thinking about the process of life, afterlife, what's going to happen to you and all that kind of stuff. That is going to transition. However, for Earth base, we want to think of a vision forward movement, because we are going to be catapulted in the end of the month. And the end of the month is going to be just like hitting a brick wall. You're just going to be going 90 miles an hour and you're going to hit that brick wall, because those energies are so powerful that you're going to want to hold on. It's like riding a roller coaster. Where I'm getting excited. We're going to be going to Universal Studios and we're going to ride the Velocicoaster for the first time, hoping my knee handles it okay. Because for those of you that are brand new, I had a knee replacement. So, and it wasn't long ago, and I'm not walking that well yet, but I'm a roller coaster person. I love roller coasters. So hopefully, but that's the end of the month, because it's going to be sort of a combative energy. It's going to be, it's going to be sort of like a game changing energy. You're going to either keep moving forward or you're going to stay stuck, because the old ways and the old way that you were, the old way that you're trying to hold on to, and this again is the Pluto energy of fighting transition. Is it Pluto or is it Pluto? Yeah, it's Pluto's energy that you're going to be fighting. It's like your inner side wants to hold on to some of the old stuff. It's like holding on to mementos, kind of a thing. You want to hold on to that past. However, it's like somebody is just pulling you towards the future, and it's like you're trying to hold on, but you're being pulled this way, and you're losing your grip. And you need to lose that grip, because we're going forward. We're not going backwards anymore. And you will have more conflict. You'll have more misery. You will have more struggles internally if you keep hanging on to that past. Let it go and move forward. So it's sort of like you're gripping onto something and you're losing that grip. There's a reason why, because we're not going back to that way. The earth is not going back, and it will never go back. I mean, the dinosaurs aren't here. I mean, so they never came back. Okay. And you look at underwater archaeology and things like that, sunken cities, they're not coming back. Things are not coming back. And maybe relationships that need to be let go with this full moon and these retrogrades, because we need to keep looking forward. Uranus is going to be coming in, and with Uranus, again, the negative side of Uranus is it is a little bit rebellious and it is a little bit irresponsible. So we want to make sure that that side sort of stays squashed. We need to keep lifting up, thinking positive, bringing joy. Thing I'm going to say with this full moon, if you start getting depression, you start getting anxiety, you start getting frustrated, anger starts rising, this is a time to stop, recognize it, and do something to immediately switch it around. And the only way sometimes we can do that is we can look to the divine. We can look to the higher power. That's the only way. Help me get this. Help me calm down. Help me get this depression, because depression and anxiety are very earth-based energies. Okay? Earth-based energies. And the reason why is that it's mostly circumstantial. Nothing's working out for me. You know, and you're listening to what other people say, or you listen to outside sources rather than really finding out your true self and who you are, and believing in that true self and who you are, how the higher power actually made you. Okay. I'm not going to go into that right now, but if you want to talk about it, email me, please. I have lots of videos, free videos, for you guys, or if you want to do a coaching session, we'll talk about that. But there's never a problem to ask me a question. I don't charge. This is my gift. This is why God has me doing this. All right. So the other thing too, very lastly, is remember that your dreams are going to be really, really important. So if you don't like to journal dreams, that's cool, but your dreams are going to give you a lot of answers. They're going to tell you some things, maybe movement where you should be moving. You can always send me your dreams and I can interpret them for you if they're really short or not too long. Otherwise, that would be something that I would need to take more time into. But we want to look at more the spiritual side of that, because definitely that is where this month is, the end of the month is going, is looking more at the spiritual awakenings, looking at your intuition, looking at paying attention to that intuition, or if you hear what you hear, the little thing in your head, the voice in your head, that kind of a thing. All right. Because at the end of the month, from the 27th through, I would say, the middle of July, yeah, these are going to be energies that it's sort of like if you were in a hurricane and holding on to a light post or something, your feet are going to be way out here. And the wind is going this way and you're just holding on and your feet are hanging way out here, not on the ground, way out there. That's the energy that's going to come on. Like I said in the very beginning, got to make sure that you have enough fuel in your cars, make sure that you have enough food in your, it's just because the prices are going to skyrocket, and I would love for you guys to save money. you know. But the idea at the end of this month, when these energies start coming in and hitting you hard, because you're going to hear a lot of stuff going on in the news, you're going to hear a lot of things coming up that are really challenging, and you may even have energies around you that are challenging, and maybe you're holding on to that hurricane pole and your legs are out there and you're like, I want to just screw it and let go. No, you don't want to do that. You want to just go to the higher vibrations, go to some whatever it brings joy, music or animals, go pet your animals, or camping, or go to a park, get out in nature, and literally breathe. You know how people don't breathe? It's really amazing that people think that they breathe and they really don't. And you got to breathe and take that in. I learned that in martial arts. You have to really breathe and take that air into your lungs and expel the toxins out. You really have to expel the toxins out. I should do a video on breathing. I really should. Anyway, so you want to think of these joyful times, these times. So any time, you guys, with this full moon through the second week of July, I would say really, really focus in on your inner self, your dreams, your spirituality, because your subconscious is going to kick in about what is life, what is the afterlife. We don't know until we die. However, we think that we know based on what people have passed away and told us, also what our ancestors have told us and things of that nature. Or if you're like me, have abilities to touch the other side and be able to communicate with the other side. What's going on over there? Kind of a thing. It's very interesting. And also dimensions. We talk about dimensions. Deja vu. Did you know that's a dimension? It's very interesting. Anyway, talking about different dimensions and things like that. So that is where that is. Now I'm going to go into a reading. If anybody has any questions at all, I'm just going to go over my notes real quick. So 14th of June, Saturn squared with Uranus, big energy. We've got June 20th, Jupiter went into retrograde. June 24th, we had the full moon. June 25th, Neptune went into retrograde. We still have Pluto and Saturn in retrograde. And today, the 22nd, Mercury left. Well, it's indirect. So when it goes direct, it's just starting to ramp up to go the other way, and it's going to take time. All right. So those are huge, 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 huge energies that, yeah, wow. This month, it's just like, hold on. And I'm excited because being an empath, you guys, I'm going to go into the reading now for those of you guys that are popping on. Hey, Felix, I didn't even see you on there. Apologize. I had my screen in the wrong way. For those that are new, being an empath, I get excited when they talk about things awakening, because this brings my abilities up to a newer level that I've never, ever had before. And I awaken new parts of me that I had no idea about. And what I mean by that is I have the ability to grow. Trying to fix this, guys. I'm not a techie person, so hopefully this isn't affecting. I'm sorry, it's jiggling though. It allows me to grow my intuition. I've been having some new abilities starting, and I question them like everybody does, because we want to make sure, not only as an empath, but as anybody growing their abilities, to make sure that they're from the higher power, because you can be tricked. There is a low vibration, low frequency, yin yang, and there's a high frequency. You want to make sure that those energies are from divine or from a high power, okay? Well, let's find out some more. Welcome. Let's find out. You know what? Thank you. So Divine's saying you have opportunities now. I don't know what new opportunity. There's something being presented to you, but he's saying you have opportunities every day. It's your choices how you're taking them. I don't know what opportunities are around you right now, but he says we all have opportunities every day. It's your choice. That's why I give you freedom of choice. Okay, let's go into it. I'm not going to go into a coaching. All right. So that's what he's saying. Okay, so I'm going to just do 2 oracles today. I'm going to do one for the moon and one for the other planets. Wow, yeah, totally. So the oracles picked for the moon is the dragon, power and strength, and the number 6. All right. Again, this is about harmony. This is improvement. This is about us balancing ourselves. This is about not listening to the control, having that strength inside to say, nope, I'm not going to pay attention to what's going on out there. I'm going to pay attention to me. That's the moon. Okay. This is forward movement of the moon. Definitely. And also you look at the moon, you got to think about, okay, the way that I do the gardens is that, or way that I do the moon, or a lot of your readings, I do it as like a garden. All right. And what I mean by that is now is the energy where the plant has grown. We're in the strawberry moon. It's now got the little flower popping off, ready to grow the fruit. That is the transition. It goes from being a flower to growing whatever fruit or vegetable. And that takes strength. That takes energy. That takes courage. That takes power. And if you don't water the garden, if you don't give it some fertilizer, some food to grow, this is that transition time. This is that refueling time. This is that death and rebirth. If you don't water it, you don't fertilize it, that plant ain't going to give you no fruit, no vegetables. But if you water it, that means to nourish yourself in your spirit and your mind. Spirit first, mind second. And I know some of you guys don't understand that if you're new to my channel, but I teach about spirit, mind, and body. If you go down below, you can see Get Balanced. But the thing is, you've got to start with spirit first. That takes power and courage because our mind is Saturn, wants to fight and conflict and wants restriction and make sure that it controls everything. And spirit is Uranus. I'm individual. I'm original. I can be whatever I want to be. That conflict of that moon and the energies of the retrogrades are happening right there and then. We want to get that harmony back. The only way to get that harmony back with the full moon and the energies through the second week of July, I am getting goosebumps for somebody. I don't know who. But the thing is, we have to be focused in the higher powers, the higher energies, the higher vibrations, things that bring us joy. So as soon as you start getting mad, as soon as you start getting frustrated, diffuse it, turn it around, and think positive, walk away, do whatever you need to do to bring those vibrations up. Because let me tell you, those low vibrations are going to be right on your heels. And as soon as you start opening your mouth and yelling at somebody or getting mad at somebody or flipping somebody off because you're road raging, the low vibrations just won. It's sort of like a game of chess. Okay, that's the game. But the game changer is to think of the high vibrations and joy, and then you have checkmate. So this is check. But if you think of the high vibrations and the divine and the higher powers to stay enlightened, checkmate. All right. Okay, so that's the moon. Big, big, big energies, huge energies. But that carries over with the planets. And the planets are about the number 7. Again, this is about your potential of change, a potential of transition, potential of moving forward. Again, remember, you're in the hurricane, you're holding on to the pole. You can either let go and stay into the back, or you can go into forward, or you can lightly let go of the past so you can keep moving forward. Because you're not going to be able to take the old ways with you because they're not working anymore. So if you like the old ways, sit and mellow with them and talk about them, do whatever. However, those are the past. We're not going backwards. We're just not. Whoa. We're not. And so you're going to find yourself in a conflict. Definitely a conflict of yourself by going backwards. And it's just not going to work for you. Because, again, listen to your dreams. Somebody's really stressed out because they're so in conflict. It's like you're fighting yourself. Why? Why are you fighting yourself? Be yourself. Be what you want to be. Create what you want to create and be. Be that Uranus energy, individual, and move forward. And who gives a flip what anybody else thinks? Because divine created you this individual way for a reason and a purpose. Move forward. All right. That is where the power of the moon comes in. Courage to move forward in the way that you need to. And who gives a crap about what other people think? Because this is the thing that comes to your dreams and your powers. Am I upside down? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I'm going to do a real quick spread here. And at the end, I will do love and relationships just for fun. If we're not going too long. Whoops. I know some of you guys are on here just for a short time, some for lunch, or some are in other countries. But I do appreciate all you guys coming on, even to say hello. I love to see my viewers. If you come on live, please don't hesitate to say hello. Tell me where you're from. I love it. And then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you're having fun, or if you're just like, wow, this is curious. I've never seen her before. Wow, she's an old boomer that does this. My daughter, she's the one that talked me into tarot a while back. And I think next month is a year. Felix, I'll be on a year this July. I'll be doing a special fun, just live get-together reading kind of a thing. So definitely. So let's see what's going to go on for these last couple of weeks. Actually, we're going to do it from, what's today, the 22nd? Yeah, so these are full moon energies right now. And because we're live, so for those of you that are brand new to like astrology and stuff like that, and moons and full moons and new moons, those energies start kicking in and ramping up about 2-3 days before the full moon, depending on the full moon, like if it's a super full moon or if there's eclipse coming in, that kind of a thing. It could even be a little bit longer. However, usually the average is about 2-3 days before the full moon. And then that energy stays in about 2-3 days after, because the full moon sort of goes quickly. It does change very quickly. However, the retrogrades are here through October and December. So we've got Saturn and Pluto leaving in October. Then we've got Neptune or Uranus. No, Uranus is not in retrograde. Neptune's leaving in December. Jupiter's in October, I think, or December. Anyway, they last a long time. And so that's why I really push on you guys to really pay attention to the retrogrades more than the new and full moons. And hopefully whoever you listen to when you talk, they talk, especially if they're doing tarot or anything like that, they talk about the retrogrades because it's really important. I think the retrogrades are almost more important because of the intensity that they pack and how they can actually mess with you and challenge you, and also how to know what each planet is doing and their characteristics, so you can counter that. Because when you got opposing, now we got double opposing planets, you got to know how to counteract that. And that's why I'm talking about really lifting yourself up. If you start thinking negative, stop yourself. I'm going to come in and tell Patty. And knock yourself and turn yourself around. Think positive, guys. Really think positive. This is a really important time. A lot of transition going on internally, spiritually, and that spiritually affects your head and how you think. But if you're worldly and human and think of the earth, you're starting with your head first and you're already a mess. All right, so we have but I shouldn't say that, but it's true. And this is what I teach in life coaching and spiritual coaching. You got to think from your spirit first. You've got to be open to think from your spirit first, because then your life, I've been both. I've lived both. And it's a mess when you think of your head first. You're living a roller coaster and you're living for circumstances and you're looking for happiness. Maybe we should be looking for joy. It's very, very different. Anyway, I'll start getting into coaching. Sorry. So we've got the remember I said there was supposed to be travel? Okay, but this is in reverse. So somebody might be traveling fairly soon, but not too far away. Okay, so somebody might be traveling not too far away. Again, somebody's missing out on love and joy because this transition, you're fighting it. Okay, we're talking about the moon and the planets right now. So you're fighting it. If you do allow yourself to let go of that and become more free and more more based on your spirit rather than your head, you will be able to win. Remember that chess game I was just mentioning about? This is checkmate. You won. But if you don't, then this is basically check. This is the game. This is the winning. So this is something that you're going to be fighting. Definitely. We've got an up and down. I've got up and down all over here. So definitely a lot of world thinkers, a lot of people thinking with their head first before they think from their spirit. A lot of this going on. This is the conflicting between control and truth. So what I'm going to say is, because we've got beautiful celebration, we have everything, and then we get depressed. Then we get really like, really, where'd that come from? Woe is me, or what's going on? But you know what? I've worked so hard and it didn't turn out. And then we got joy again. We've got a roller coaster here. Velocicoaster. I don't know where I'm going to actually, for those of you that are new, I'm headed to Universal Studios and Disney World. It's part work, but it's also part fun. But I am going to do some readings. Felix, I'll try to do one from Universal for you, and then probably from Disney World. So, but I am going to do some live ones. So for those that are probably watching this recorded, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll know when I'm on, because I'm not doing thumbnails. I'm just going to be popping on and giving you some fun. I'm going to actually probably do some fun videos too, some little travel videos, show you, because people from other countries maybe don't get the opportunity to see these places. And I'm not doing travel stuff here. They will be on my travel channel, but it just sort of fun, All right, so this roller coaster will stop. However, it's going to depend on you. This is going to depend on if you really want to work on yourself. And this is not your attitude self. This is not your integrity self. This is not your moral self. This is your connection with divine and spirit. Even one astrologer was talking about that. I was like, I was really surprised that they said that when I was studying and doing my research, because I like to go back and forth and make sure that my research is accurate, because I'm also fairly new to astrology, but I just love to learn. So I'll learn a lot. But definitely, they were even talking about, really get into your dreams and your higher power and things of that nature, because it's you got some opposition coming, put it that way. It's sort of like these higher prices that we can't control of our gas and our food and stuff like that. And thank you. So Divine's saying, if you say that again. You can only control yourself. You can't control what's outside. And he says, focus on controlling yourself. I think that's hard enough for me. But yeah. So definitely. So we have 2 number 4s here. Again, he wants to focus in on the joy, focus in on the celebration, focus in, some people, if you've had people passing or somebody's really ill, or you've got somebody around you. We just had a very quick, unfortunate passing of a very young travel agent. She was very go-getter, very, just one of the more top dogs of our travel agent team. Passed away, boom, just brain aneurysm. So if you've had people like that around you, please don't focus in on the negative. This happened when my brother was murdered. So we focus in on the negatives. What could I have done? How could I have done it? Blah, 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 I've done better. What can I do? But I know that I have a friend who's a medium, and he came through her a couple of times. And the thing is that he was really sad, because he says, you're focusing in on all the things that are not joy filled. And so I had to really refocus my brain on things, rather than focusing and seeing him laying there gone and all the negative parts of being murdered, he wanted me to focus in on the joy filled, the times that we shared together, the memories that we had, the fun that we had, the laughs that we had, those kind of things. So that's what the energies here, and that is definitely what the spirit is saying towards the end, and it is definitely an offering, an opening of that door to move through that. That's the way that new way of communicating as well. Because when we dream, when we read tarot, when we, mediums, whatever, that's a tool to the other side. Again, Pluto is talking about transitioning and understanding basically the underworld, your subconscious, and your spirituality and afterlife. All right. So if somebody's passed by you, don't focus in on the negative, definitely. Okay. Why'd you have to throw that in? So the Seven of Swords popped up. Okay. And the Seven of Swords is about betrayal. Remember, communication is still play here. We still got Mercury retrograde leaving. However, there may be some things going on that may be betrayal. They're trying to get rid of. Thank you. So the reason why is I have a funny feeling that, it's sort of like when you loan money to somebody and you expect it back and you never see it back. That is sort of what's going on with somebody, but it also too, there is some type of verbal betrayal going on, and that's the conflicting planets that's going on with the retrogrades and the moon. Again, we're talking about truth and untruth. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. Oh, I'll pay you back when my taxes come back. Yeah, right. So again, control, manipulation over truth. And that was in some of your readings last week as well. Okay, so definitely. Yeah, so if I've been on a year, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I just saw your comment. Thank you. Yeah, next July is going to be a year I've been on. So hopefully I'm helping some people out there. That's the whole goal of it. The subs, if they can come, that's great. If they don't, as long as I'm helping people or transitioning people to their higher self, that's all that matters. And to divine. That's huge. That's huge. If I can bring somebody that doesn't understand about divine or God and bring them to that, because let me tell you, life is totally different and very peaceful, joy-filled, and everything. So whoever's going through some verbal betrayal, know that this is the end of the month energies. Please hold on. And about the second week, things might turn around. Somebody might come back and apologize. Somebody might pay you back for money they should have paid you back for, that kind of energy. But through these next couple of weeks, it's going to be, you know what, if you're, I like watching these judge shows, because like, how many times did you try to get your money back? They'll say, how many times? Well, I kept calling her every week. Well, if they're broke and if they're not with a job, what are you doing that for? It's like beating a dead horse. Can I get my money? Can I get my money? Beating a dead horse, that kind of a thing. And when people say, oh, I'll pay you when I get my taxes, run. No, just know that you'll say goodbye to that money. Because most of the time, I would say 9 out of 10 times, you're never going to see that money again. So anyway, what I really do like about this lasting energy is that we have the Fool card at the very end. Okay, the Fool card is it's a very light energy. It's a very new energy. It's an energy that is probably in the second week of July, because Mercury is now gone. Some people are saying, okay, I am feeling better about myself. I've really been working on myself or my spirituality, or maybe abilities are awakening, and you're taking hold of those and accepting them and not fighting them. And get a hold of me. If you're afraid of your abilities, if you have abilities, this is where the divine, and I come hand in hand, because these are blessings. These are things that he wants you to embrace. Second dimensional, supernatural, having some supernatural abilities in you is phenomenal. We all have them. It's just how you tap into them. And it's a really, really new, exciting energy. Whoever is going to be traveling through these, through till now through October in these retrogrades, this is beautiful energies. Make those memories. That's what I teach a lot in Life Balance. Go and make memories. That's joy. That's something that nobody can take away from you. That's joy. That is highest energy and vibration. All right. So in money, definitely, somebody's not being very honest out there, and they are trying to ruin the fun. And it's intentional. I hate to say that. Somebody's very intentional about it and manipulative. That's that low vibration. I'm surprised we didn't see the devil card here. That's very low vibration. I don't like that at all. So be just really mindful. Listen to your intuition when somebody comes to you and asks you for something in the next 2 weeks. Because, again, we've got that combative energy coming in. We've got some real not good energies coming in the end of the month from the 27th forward. All right. So I'm going to do some love and relationships here. Now, just remember the dragon card is the moon's energy, and it is also the number 6. This is really about your power, your strength, your internal power, your strength to be able to do what you can do for your individual self. You're authentic. Become the authentic you. It does take courage. It takes a ton of courage, ton of strength to be able to do that. But you know what? There is going to be burden that's going to be released. When you do that and you become joy-filled rather than earthly happiness, you will become calm. You will not sweat the small stuff. You'll look at life completely differently. Definitely do that. I don't think I'll do it this year, but maybe next year I might do a series where people can sign up and sort of do a class in learning how to do that. Maybe a series, a 2-3 class series on how to do that, because I'm telling you, I used to live what that was. I used to live it. I was manipulative. I was, a liar, because my foundation was broken. We talk about this all the time, but my foundation was broken from being sexually abused, emotionally abused, verbally abused. And then as I grew up, my spirituality, Divine gave me gifts when I was a kid. I just didn't know how to use them or what. But as I grew up in my late 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s, and that's where I'm going to stop. But I had learned how to use my abilities. But I squashed even my authenticity. Don't do this. I squashed my authenticity until my early 50s, guys. And what I mean by that is I was being very spiritual minded, but living like earth. Everything actually sort of faked it. And then when I said, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore, Divine is really pushing me. And literally, it was like, there's a cliff here, and he's pushing me to the edge of the cliff that you need to jump off and be yourself or go. And that's what it was. I said, okay, this is who I am. And I did. I shut all that fakeness down. I shut all that down, and I healed just like that. I said, okay, you take over. Like that, and then it turned around and it gave me Get Balanced 2020, the Divine Warrior Intuitive is teaching. Because that's what he said. He goes, now go and teach. When he shoved me off that cliff, he said, now go and teach. And I'm like, teach what? What do you want me to teach? And then he just boom, boom, boom. When Divine comes in, guys, he works fast. In a relationship, if it's the right relationship, it's going to feel good. It's going to be a high vibrational. That low vibration is not going to be there. Pay attention to that in your relationships, because the low vibrations is right there to manipulate a earthly relationship. Earthly relationship. And that's what we're going to talk about next. Love. All right, so let's see what's going on for you guys from now to the end of the month. I'd say the 30th for love and relationships. I love it. I love it. Full moon day, right? Okay, so we have the cosmos. Creativity and vastness. Now, a lot of you guys last week, 21st through the 27th, had limitless. Remember the spider? Some of you have the spider for one of the oracles. Limitless. This is vastness. This is creativity. This is Uranus energy. This is be individual, be unique, be original. Okay. And it doesn't mean artistically, just be you. Just be you. So in a relationship, this is number 5. This is going to be new for a lot of you guys. And what it means is 5, it's not the number 1. Number 1 is new energies and things, but 5 is sort of an unfamiliar territory. 5 is coming out of the box, trying something new, feeling a little bit nervous about it because it's not really stable yet. It's a new sort of awakening kind of energy. It's not quite stable there. So if you're in a relationship, something's unstable and you got to get creative to make that spark go again, that romantic spark go again. Make the, there's a connection between the moon and the buildings. So make the sparks go again. All right. Definitely do that. All right. So let's see what else we've got here. What do you need to release? Okay. They misspelled what, but what do you need to release? This is the waning moon. Okay. Again, we are talking about in your relationships, are you holding on to your past? Because what's going to happen if you're holding on to your past, if you're holding, somebody's fighting and so they're holding on to that. Somebody's like, if it's a guy, you're actually pulling back. I don't know who this is, but they're pulling back. And they're like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to give them the silent treatment for a while. I'm going to go in my hole and screw this. I'm not going to deal with this anymore. And that's what you need to release because that's not good communication with your partner. That is not good communication. You need to share what is bothering you, why it's bothering you. And you should be able to do this with an even tone, nice and quiet. If there's yelling, then you guys are bad communicating in your relationship, and that's not going to get you anywhere. Again, that's the energies at the end of the month. So this is a time to transition and try to transform into ways to communicate more calmly, more maturely, more effectively. And also because the retrograde's still going, Mercury retrograde is still pulling through till that second week of July. So you got to be creative in your communications to help each other out. There also needs to be creativeness to grow that spark, like I said. Okay. But a lot of times in relationships, we do not want to release the past. We do not want, and the thing is, when somebody's fighting and arguing, or this might even be a friend. Now, love relationships could be friends, could be family, but somebody's arguing and they want to hold on to the past and keep throwing it up over and over and over again. Women are really good at this. But you said last year that you were never going to go out and gamble again. And this was something that should have been put to bed and left and not, the elephant should have been taken out of the room and that should not be discussed again. Unless it's a really big issue, that is something that you just don't bring up the past. Now, for example, if somebody's cheating and they're becoming a habit on cheating, of course, that's counseling or that's coaching, or you need to go see some coaching and counseling. But if it's a one-time thing or trying to figure each else out and just say, you know what, we discussed it, it's done, it's over, and never bring it up again. That's a great challenge. Try to do that. That is something that you really should learn how to do, because once it's done in the past, it's past. They can't change it. Nobody can change it. So leave it in the past. All right. So whatever it is that you need to release in your relationship, whether it's family, love, friends, co-workers, or whatever, this needs to go away. This is the energies of the retrogrades. It has to go away because the old does not work anymore. The old is gone. Let it go. Let it go so that you can actually become creative, positive, and grow that relationship in a high vibrational energy. Please do that, because if you want your relationships to survive, it's all based on more positive. 5 positives, 1 negative. So say 5 positives to one person and only 1 negative. Do not reverse that. Don't talk about 5 negatives and then 1 positive. Your relationship won't last at all. And if you've got to see how often you're doing that in your relationships. Do that every day. Did I give that person? Did I give her? Did I give him 5 positives today? Even you look nice today. Oh, you really? Oh, I like that shirt on you. Oh, really? Oh, it was just good to see you today. I missed you today. Texting. Oh, how are you doing? Just thinking of you today. You know, this is really huge in your relationships. 5 positives, 1 negatives. Give it a try. All right. All right, you guys, this has gone long. Sorry about that. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful 4th of July. Again, don't forget to like. Please like if you're watching and you've gotten this far. It really helps creators' channels. It gives YouTube something to say, hey, yeah, people are watching it. It's really great. I appreciate that very, very much. Don't forget to hit subscribe and the bell so that you can come see me do some readings from on my vacation. I will probably have withdrawals if I don't do a reading. So anyway, I hope you guys have a real, real wonderful week. Please be safe. This full moon is going to really knock some people. If you need to email me, please email me. If you just need to vent, or if you're looking for your abilities are growing, especially through the 2nd week of July, some of you are actually going to be growing some abilities. You're going to be questioning the afterlife. Your subconscious is going to start sending stuff forward that maybe you haven't thought of in years. You're always welcome to email me and ask me questions of anything nature. That's what I'm here for, to help you get through your processing, especially if it is spiritual. All right. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful 4th. I will talk to you on the 5th if I am home and everything went well. So take care, guys. Love you. Thanks for coming in and saying hello. Samar and Felix, appreciate that. And take care. Don't forget to walk in absolute truth and love, because you're going to be tested on that during this. Thank you. You're going to be tested on this. It's going to be a conflict, truth versus untruth. And you know what? Lastly, that truth or that untruth that you think that they're lying will come through and to show that it's what the truth will come out. No matter what it is, the truth is going to come out and you'll be shown it. Just watch. Take care.